Hey folks, Singwin,
Hello.
you saying good morning? Can you guys hear?
Yeah, here. Can you hear me? Um, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Hey,
Yeah, great.
hi.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, folks. I think we're just about 3 minutes over, and I see quorum is building up. Charlie, Drew, Sean, Jongmin.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Got a little bit of a panic this morning, like trying to get into the meeting and not a lot of success. So glad I found it worked. You guys had a question. I saw the email about the Zoom licenses.
Yeah.
From Kevin Kiefer. We didn't change the links to any of the Zoom meetings, did we?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Rooms stay the same. It's just login into the Zoom for any meeting. What happens is right now, everyone gets who shares the login gets. Here are your recordings, here are your whatever, all
Got
the
it.
notifications. So because we're sharing a login, now that will kind of stop. So I had not been able to, I was not able to attend last week. Drew, you were there. So maybe you can get us started. We're building up. Before that, we can collect any opens and then
Sure.
5 minutes over.
And we didn't meet. You mean like week before last?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I didn't meet last week either. So just to be clear.
No, not last week. I mean last time. Sorry.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we, it was nothing magic. We we talked talked about, just wanting to get the document ratified based on the stuff we want to log,
Yeah.
and some progress going through the comments. Um, so
Okay. So did we clean up some more of the document? Did we make progress on that? That's good.
yeah, so and it looks like Mita made a few more comments. Uh,
Yeah, I see some by Sean also, that which was
oh yeah,
like before last time's meeting. So we should clean those up today. Before we jump into dive into that, anyone has any opens? One a public service announcement is that the Europe call for papers or proposals for the European Summit, or I don't know what's the official name, but it used to be a regional summit of OCP, but now it's something else. That is open, so I don't know if anyone is planning to go submit proposals, anything like that. Uh, yeah, the proposal window is still open if someone is interested.
sounds fun. If I can only get travel.
I know, right? If someone can sponsor and put something together, right?
Yeah.
All right. What a week, huh? The news about DeepSeek just uh, yesterday kind
Here's
of,
what I don't. Here's what I don't understand. I mean, the stock market, is silly, and they just do what they do. But
yeah,
they just announced to the world that training is going to take fewer GPUs. We're nowhere near the goals we want to achieve with AI, so we're going to be able to
right.
achieve those goals with fewer GPUs. And the stock goes down. And I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, I can understand
Yeah,
maybe someone selling the GPUs, but all the people using the GPUs, their stock should go up because their job just got easier. There's a cheaper path to success. So that's where I'm just kind of like, wait a minute.
Well, Drew, now's the
but they're
time.
also,
Now's the time to invest.
I just,
yeah,
I,
and buy,
it,
right?
it
You're
is,
ahead of
but
the street.
it is, but the problem is I just had an annual inspection on my plane, and I need to sell some stock. So the
Oh,
timing.
shit.
Yeah, their model is also open like Meta's, right? Like Llama. So
Yeah.
that is something. Now there are two open models, which is
Well,
great.
and the other
Open
thing they
source. Yeah.
did, actually, the other thing they did totally relates to this meeting. So I was reading about they broke the model into like experts into things. And so one of the advantages of their model from just taking a fresh look at things is that you don't activate the whole model for every problem. And so, if you're reasoning about something medical, you don't need to like identify a
Okay.
bird. So you don't need to activate that part of or
Yeah.
the pop culture part of the neural network doesn't need to be activated
Right.
if you're asking a medical question. And so it relates
Yep.
to us because they're demonstrating that you can break these experts down. And so for me, it says, everything's about fault management, right? Uh, the
Yep.
what we can do is we could make it such that we have a thing that reasons about memory, that we ask about memory when we have a memory problem, and uh, and that we can tie that into a bigger model that does more things. And of course, I knew that anyway, but it's just a little bit more evidence that I think what we're doing is going to be great, and and that it should not hurt anyone that wants to use AI to look at fleet problems. That's one of the things I've been telling people at Microsoft is that look, this is an expert system. It's going to be awesome. It's going to point you in the right direction, but it's not going to prevent you from doing AI and looking for signals that we haven't found yet. You're just going to have the experts telling you what they think. That's actually really a valuable signal. So
Yep.
anyway, if I can twist that a little bit, irrelevant.
Anyone else has any comments before I can start sharing, Drew, if that's okay?
Sure, I've got it up or you got it up, either way.
Go ahead, you share. I'll just watch you do it.
Okay, it's totally up to you. I'm flexible. Okay. Okay, let me make that a little bigger so it shares a little better. Oops. Okay, so this comment, whoops. Oh, weird. I clicked on that comment. That's an ancient comment.
Yeah, that is linked somewhere, which is orphan. I think you should just that comment from
From Shen.
yeah, just delete that first. I can just take care of that. Let's move on to Mita's comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. There's a problem. I think it's an orphan comment. That's why it's hanging in the beginning of the document. So
When
something like
I
that.
clicked it to see, like if if you click it, you can see what you
Yeah, because
highlighted,
it doesn't know where to go. There's
and then
nowhere
it
to
jumped
go. That's
somewhere
the
random in the document, and the comment disappeared. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. So
So, yeah, my comment was basically, we had been discussing RAS actions versus repair actions. I just wanted to make sure that we stay consistent with the other Friday meetings conclusions here.
yeah, and I think we are. I mean, let's see. We kept because I had originally was thinking RAS action was just any action.
That's what I thought too, and that's why I think when we wrote this, we put like PPR, flu replacement,
Oh, I
everything
see. You're
into.
right. The flu replacement snuck in there. Okay. Good catch. So what I'll do is you're right. Uh, I'll just take that out and as action or and okay. Um, there we go. And then what I'll do is for repair action, I'll put free replacements in parentheses. Yeah, and I originally had them as one thing, but Anil later convinced me it was two things because they go different places and different people do them. So it makes sense to have a different name for something someone else does.
Well, actually, my intention, Drew, sorry, I just joined. I think I like the point you mentioned that they're all RAS actions, okay? Some are automatically taken at the platform level, and some require human intervention or some external tooling, not human, external tooling.
Well, and that's
And
where
that's
I thought you convinced, okay, Anil, but you convinced me that they were two different things, two
yeah,
different names.
I mean, yeah, two different things in the sense that some are taken automatically by the platform,
Yeah.
and some require additional agents, like
And
for example,
so
restarting machine.
that's right. And I thought based on what you said there, that RAS action was the automated, back to the machine thing, and repair action was the, something else has to go manipulate the machine.
Yeah, now I'm thinking more when you said they all look kind of same bucket, right? That I think that makes sense. It's just I want to differentiate between actions taken at the platform level uh, versus actions taken by external agent.
I agree. So let's call the actions taken at the platform RAS actions and the other actions repair actions. Does that work?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's what we've been doing. Like since you had that discussion, that's how I've been using the term.
right. And the fru actually is not just replacement. It could be, reseed, um, reset. So fru action, I think, would be more generic term.
For replacement, I can just say reseat like that. Yeah, it's manipulating the fruit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could even be dancing. We call it dancing, right? Right, where you swap them all around, see what the failure if the failure follows the slaughter follows
yeah.
the fruit.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I heard here in Meta we call reshuffle or shuffle.
sure, but anyway, it should include all those things. That's a repair action. It's a physical manipulation of the machine by an external entity. Okay. So I'm going to mark this as closed because I think we fixed it.
Yep.
And okay, need to provide a link here.
So
That is a,
I went through and put links where it was clear to me what, but this one wasn't so clear to me.
So maybe just a link to the appendix and we can put the full link there, right? Rather than putting links in the document.
well, if you hyperlink, you just Control K it, and it just turns blue. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. But okay. I mean, generally references go in the references, right? It's a reference.
Yeah. Well, we'll just do both, right? I mean, like the hyperlinks.
Okay, sure. Yeah, both work.
Okay. Oh, that was not what I wanted.
Yeah, that's the problem with that. You have to edit it to show just the text, not the
Right,
full
right.
link.
No, but Control K should put the link in, not the paste the link. Huh. I guess there's some sort of change here because I do this all the time. Oops. That's really weird. Oh, there we go. That worked. Okay.
Mhm.
So,
Good.
so now it's linked and it doesn't hurt. Okay. Error record.
Are we also putting these in the references, and are we like marking them as such, or uh,
We should. I mean,
this link
I
is
thought
all
it
we're
was.
doing?
Huh. I don't know if we have references. And we have a weird.
Yeah, we have references.
Where are they?
I think they're above the conclusion or somewhere. in that area. Yeah, just after the conclusion, section
Oh,
12.
yeah. Okay, good. It is there. It's the first. It's the first reference.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Mita. You're Mita's the one that actually has been looking at the document lately.
Yeah, I tried yesterday to spend a few hours on it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah. Error record decoder, ERD, fault analyzer, EFA.
Let's see. Okay. Analyzers.
I think originally
Yeah,
we
I
called it
think
processor fault analyzer, and then
earlier
the name morphed.
EFA.
Yeah, you're right. So. Awesome.
No, no. I think the first blue box inside the vendor specific fault analyzer is what it was referring to. Isn't that right? Earlier we call that PFA and then error record decoder. Is it?
That's
Is
my
am I
understanding as well, yeah.
am I
Oh,
remembering
I'm
it correctly? Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking the whole green box needed to work if it didn't have a vendor. See, because it's
Let's
not
read
really.
the title. Standard API to configure this particular important presence.
Yeah, you're right. It is our record decoder because it's still configuring its outputs.
Is Roy or Jongmin on the call? They might be able to
I think.
confirm.
Well, because it's configuring its outputs, but here's the deal. If let's say that we get a, kind of an unusual DRAM vendor, we'd expect some basic analysis to still work. It just may not be real good, but it was something really basic should still be there probably. We're not trying to make it so.
I'm still not clear. The whole bullet. A standard API is particularly important for. Earlier it was PFA. We made it error because that particular block may need to configure its output. depending on presence or absence of DRAM fault analyzer module, which
to me
is
suggests the first blue box inside the green.
Yeah, because that's what sends things down to the DRAM fault analyzer. That's exactly why I changed my mind when I heard.
I see the outputs. Okay, yeah, that's a key, right? So
We could
okay,
just say
so
depending on the DRAM fault analyzer module. Get rid of presence or absence.
yeah, the presence absence kind of throwing me off too.
Yeah.
Um,
And if we don't have a DRAM fault manager, then maybe what we do is have a generic one. It just says, well, you had errors at 10 addresses, must be a bad DRAM. Something really simple. Okay, is that okay?
How about depending on the type of DRAM fault analyzer module?
That sounds good. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I guess the point is that if the memory folks want a particular thing from the CPU folks, they can ask for it and get it. Right.
yeah, so in the below table also, Sean pointed out we have PFA term used along with ERD, which we do not use anymore. So Sean is asking, is it SFA or what?
Yeah.
So the vendors provide ERD.
ERD
So it
and
should just be
So
ERD.
originally,
Earlier
I
it
think,
was PFA.
yeah, originally
Really?
instead of system fault analyzer, it was platform fault analyzer. So I think that was PFA. But I think the name's changed now.
Yeah,
under
just
that
take
name.
out PFA from there is what we need.
Is that
well,
not still something that's coming from the CPU vendor though? So that
yeah.
we would also need to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we want to make it via. I think he's right. It is via SFA because this the whole thing. We get this thing, and it does the right thing
No,
for.
no. So
It's
look at the
SFA.
table. Look at the table. The vendor for the whole table is the whole vendor for the whole big green box. Every component in that, is it? I think
It should
the
be
below
SFA.
components are coming from memory vendors, where the above two are ERDs, which are coming from CPU vendors.
But they're
So
also SFAs.
yeah, so he's right. So ERD and SFA.
So that's why I'm just saying.
No, not the DFA in the middle. No, not the DFA in the middle.
Oh, but
If you say VSFA, then
well, can we just say everything but the TFA then? Or I mean,
it's just two things, right? ERD and SFA. Just say that
okay.
specifically.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, are we arguing whether or not they need to be separate individual line items with individual goods, or just if we want it to only be one or the other?
I don't know, and I'm not even sure how we're going to use these squids, to be honest, Sean.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think what we're going to do is just power through this because, like the focus of this stuff is maybe subject to refinement. Let's just say, because the key thing we're trying to release is the content of the error logs because we need to collect that. Start collecting that ASAP, and so if we can agree on that, then everyone can start working on collecting that while we build the analyzers and flesh the details of the analyzers out. So that's kind of what I thought we were doing. So I think it's okay. I think we can just leave it like this, and maybe we clean it up if we aren't sure how we're going to use the goods later. Okay, so down here. So
What I was trying to just clarify was like, I think the point is that this analyzer can be run in the infrastructure, which is not necessarily part of the node, but then infrastructure means everything actually. So
yeah, I'll just call it resource management infrastructure. You know,
Yeah. Okay. That's
I think that's really the heart of it. Every hyperscaler has some sort of management infrastructure that manages their nodes. So that's
yeah. That makes it clear. Thanks.
okay. That sounds good. Let's see. Okay, Anil, should the cloud icon include two boxes related? Error bundling and previous logs. It may be. Although you might argue that these two are really tied to how you feed the analyzer and not necessarily how you collect the logs. I don't know. I don't know how much it matters. But I mean, I can stretch I guess here's what the question for you. What's clear? Because if I stretch the error logging infrastructure box to cover these two boxes, I mean, it's going to be kind of an awkward drawing. So I don't know. Does anyone care?
What you can do is put another dotted box around that to indicate these are all part of one infrastructure. To keep the kind of loose. I don't know if that's right use of the term, but loosely identify them as being part of one
Here, I'll use over.
node, I think.
There was another drawing that Drew you created that actually is more aligned. I don't know why we have to have yet another drawing here.
This drawing is actually important because it shows the time series aspect.
Yeah, I think we were discussing with where we showed the big data kind of icon where all the error logs are going there, previous and new, right? And then
I think that we discussed, Anil, did we discuss that one in hardware fault management? I think, right?
yeah, CPAL in the context of CPAL, right? The block diagram.
Oh, let me find the CPAL.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that document up and take a look. Okay. I mean, I can copy that drawing in. Yeah, let's see. I did draw it twice. I just like drawing pictures, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, this drawing is a lot more kind of integrate with a lot of new things that we discussed. I think the earlier drawing was done a long time ago, right? Since then, we learned a lot more.
Well, yeah, and I think what happened is people were confused about.
Yeah, so we have VSFA details here.
Okay, you see what I'm
Yeah,
sharing?
let's
I'm sharing
not
both
nuke this
drawings from the
completely.
drawing. So really, I think it's fine to show I mean, I can make this just VSFA and gut the details, and I can put
Yeah.
header parsing in, and then the drawings are the same.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, if that clears things up, that's easy enough to do. So I just delete that, and oh, it's always a challenge to make sure you pick the right thing. Okay. Okay, make that go there. Make that smaller. And so then I just need a header parsing. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. You see the trick I use to make the line always look straight there is I'm going to work when I add another line, but I'll make it work. Okay. Okay. And then, okay, how's that? And then, oh, it needs to say, oh, I was doing it right. Somehow I didn't center it anymore. Okay, so how's that look? Now the two are the same, except it. So I'll delete that. And I mean, I guess I'll just say seepers, right? Because this is the. Let's see if it looks better. Okay. So now the two drawings match. Can I close this comment?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
By the way, I labeled all the 3 or 4 diagrams. Just make sure that
Yeah.
the names are okay. I didn't like put it in suggestions. I just went ahead and did it.
Sounds good. No argument here. This looks good to me. So, I mean, unless someone objects, I'm just accepting. Now, this is interesting. I guess, let's see. I'm trying to make it show the whole table. It's really weird. Yeah, I just want this to go away. I don't know. So this table is kind of wide. I guess, you know, it'll scroll. And there's nothing out in these other columns? Am I missing something? Seems like I
Yeah,
could,
I think they're empty. Can be deleted.
yeah, let's delete this column.
I guess I didn't scroll that far.
Okay, hey, now it fits. It doesn't scroll off. Use standardized schema instead of this column. I think this is an ancient comment. And I'm not sure what this comment is. Oh, I see. Seeper details. I don't know what to think of this because I guess that's defined, firmware versions are defined in Seeper. Is that what he was saying? And timestamps and error types. Okay, well, now that I'm not so sure about, you know, because I know that Intel and AMD capture error bits very differently. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to look at that. Unless someone knows what we should do here, I think we're gonna have to look at it. Let's look at the other things we can fix quickly. So, oh yeah, because this is boot time. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay, what would make this different? Primordial boot timestamp. Oh no. Y'all still there?
Yep.
Okay. So primordial, I mean, let's see, GUID would be like a system ID, right? Here's the problem. If we have a pointer, if we pass like a hyperscaler dependent pointer to the analyzer is not going to know how to find the system, date of birth. You see what I'm saying? It's just not going to have it.
Is the
And
intended use of that? I mean, if it's just a GUID, like, is the intended use to actually locate the time for the system, or is this just meant to be an identifier for a particular system to correlate records?
it's really a time, if I recall, because if you know when the system was turned up, then you can make some assumptions about like early life wear out, and how well tested the system is. That was my understanding. But if Roy is here or someone from one of the memory vendors remembers how they wanted to use it. But
There's a row for primordial boot timestamp, just like 3 or 4 below this, which has some explanations.
yeah, I think that's what we really want. It says, okay, can reference to align with current status of systems if memory analyzer was offline for some time. I don't understand.
I mean, I think what that means, can reference, etc. It seems to imply that the memory analyzer is saving state, which is not what we wanted, right? Because
right, exactly. We just call it with all the state we want it to have every time. So, I think it would make more sense to delete this row, but I don't want to do it without talking to someone or someone from a memory vendor telling me that's okay.
How about we leave a comment for Roy and Yvonne and Jongmin, take a look at it, and we can come back to this discussion. Roy is not here. I think Jongmin is here. I don't know if he is.
I'm here.
He needs time to take a look.
Gosh, I don't have Roy's address in my account here.
Let's see. Jongmin, can you take that out and discuss with Roy?
Okay,
Well,
so yeah, please describe the action we need to take so I can discuss on it with Lloyd.
sure. Okay. I put a comment in, just as this not needed, and so there's, if you could dig into that, that would help. So, the firmware version, I think I wish I can talk to Carlos, but I think, but what I would say here is I think it's fine that it's open-ended. And like, let's say a particular CPU vendor knows that, an older version of their code that configures the memory controller wasn't optimized perfectly, and they later come along and optimize it and improve it. If you're using the old code and you have a memory error that might have been, resolved by the improved memory training, you might go, hey, you need new firmware. But it's not like AMD needs to understand Intel's firmware, and maybe like Samsung or Hynix do, but I don't know if it really matters. We don't have to, it just has to fit in this field. I don't think it really matters that that Intel and AMD have different firmware versions. So does that make sense to folks?
I think we're collecting the firmware version for correlating or analysis, right? I mean, which firmware was used.
Well, but like your error,
why?
you might have fixed some things in firmware, exactly.
Right, exactly. So the comment is about where it goes in CPER, right? It's not whether we need it or not. Where it goes in the vendor specific section because there's no separate field for it in CPER. There's no firmware version field in CPERs, right?
Right. So, but he says since CPER doesn't really have firmware version fields, they'd all be vendor specific sections. I think the I guess that's what I don't understand. What's not clear about this? I mean, it's just, I guess, is it which firmware version? Like, should we just say,
I think we just say it can go in the vendor specific section, right?
yeah,
Can it not?
yeah, I don't see the harm.
I think that the firmware version means that we need to look at the column number 4. Probably it should be BIOS and BMC version.
I'm sorry, can you say it again? It was broken up for me a little, John.
Yeah. So I think the firmware version probably means that the fourth column. So system firmware like the BIOS and BMC.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that kind of information is needed for memory vendor because sometimes, unfortunately, CPU vendor sometimes has some bug, and they update the newer version, fixing that kind of the bug. This reason why this information is needed to memory vendor also.
Sounds good. So if I put BIOS here, does that make it clear enough, you think?
Yeah, if we indicate the BIOS version, it would be better because it would be common in the common term.
Would it also be BMC or not?
Well, it's a little bit subtle here because you might have memory reference code that configures the memory controller. You might have a microcontroller that's grabbing CPERs out of band. So that's why it's a little bit tricky. But I think if we start with the BIOS, that'll be something. And then if we find we want to add other firmware versions, we can just add. Or we can add another line and say, out of band firmware collection agent firmware number. If there or microcontroller, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess even if it's in band, there may be a microcontroller involved in gathering the logs in the future. And we just report it.
There could be multiple. I agree with that. And I don't think we can capture all the possible firmware versions a platform may be using. So I guess to make it some kind of a generic platform, firmware version platform, like you mentioned, out of band, or it's all the firmwares that are involved in the flow, I guess.
And I'm going to clarify it and say it may be it's whatever collected the CPR.
So question on firmware. If say a CPU vendor releases a new version of firmware, that's independent of the BIOS, or does that somehow have to be linked into the BIOS so the BIOS gets updated, BIOS firmware?
So what often happens is like if as a user of, let's say, an Intel or AMD CPU, we don't write all the firmware. We go to AMD and Intel and say, hey, give us some BIOS code for your product, and they do. And then we would take that and tweak it and configure it and add our own code to it. And so it's, BIOS is like when you build a BIOS, there may be code from multiple places involved. There may be some generic UEFI code, there may be some Intel code, and there may be some Microsoft or Google code or Meta code. And so that's why I think that collected the CPR is the key word here. It's like whoever wrote the code. And the goal here is that we as end users don't really understand where to get all this stuff and how to log it. And sometimes the system is designed, the silicon is designed today in a way that makes it a little bit tricky to gather some of this stuff. And so by coming up with this common list, the goal is that we can have a piece of firmware that when there's an error can gather all of this and expose it to us.
Okay, and got it,
standard.
sure.
Right.
So my question then, the follow-on question to that is, say there is, say Intel updates their firmware to cover some particular issue. That firmware upgrade is going to be integrated into a new BIOS version. But we're going to have some systems running old BIOS, some systems running new BIOS. So we'll need to know, or the analyzer will need to know, oh, this is an old BIOS, it's not going to catch this. So the message then is upgrade this BIOS, whereas another system that has the upgraded BIOS will catch this error that Intel had put into their new firmware.
Yeah, I guess the way to look at it is, we guess at what we need. We then build tools and gain experience with what we built. And we learn that we could have improved something. We make whatever improvements we need. And that may play into the analysis as what level of improvement you're at. And you're absolutely right that they'll always be laggards. I mean, you know that, right? At Cisco,
right.
I'm sure you have machines with their original BIOS, right?
Yeah.
That someone never updated.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. I mean, at least as a hyperscaler, we can roll it out and be sure that we don't have to support N-8, but from the present version. But yeah, so I think that's important. It's even more important for you because you have a lot more backwards compatible problems.
Right. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So I and John, man, I agree the BIOS is a part of it. So I left that in the comments. I hope that makes sense. I think what you were saying made sense. What just bothered me is that I think that in the future we may have a microcontroller grabbing some of this stuff because it might just be easier that way. And I don't. And in that case, we want to know who grabbed it if it isn't the BIOS. And the microcontroller may pass it to the BIOS or who knows, it could even write a test table directly. I don't think we're constraining it.
So I think it's the first column of that row should just be platform firmware version number, right?
Oh, you're right. Thank you. Can you fix that? Yeah. Thank you. I messed that up. That's my fault. Okay, so I'm going to just accept this and I think we clarified it. Okay, Kevin Cross. That's music to my ears. Let's get some more data. So I'm just going to say sounds good, and we'll mark it. I think that's just what we're going to have to do is revisit this when we have something new. All right, and gentlemen, this is. You think you were going to look at it? And I don't know anything about this at all. I just took a note, I think, in September. I don't understand this, but John Min, I think you were going to look at this, and I think you did.
Yes, error information 4567. Yeah, this is the information for PMIC error logging. So I'm going to refine it. Sorry, I did not make some good answer for this one, but I'm gonna refine it later.
Okay, I'll
Mhm.
I'll leave it, and then we'll just want to close this out. Make sure we resolve it. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Wow, Mita, I really appreciate you doing this. Okay, so that's really interesting. I'm looking at Dale's follow-up comment. I've never heard that before. Yeah, physical address I mean, it makes sense that physical address refers to XY physical coordinates. But, when I say physical address, I'm thinking OS physical address. So maybe that's.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because when the term physical address gets used, it really confuses me. I'm thinking of something, an XY coordinate on the chip.
Okay, I'm going to put OS physical address there, just to make that clear. Uh, so, and I need to use physical there because the OS has virtual addresses. So, but I think hopefully OS physical address is clear enough. Because if you talk to any OS person, they're going to say, is it a physical address or a virtual address, right?
I always use the system address terminology because this is system view, right?
Yeah, but no, but I don't talk to any OS people that use that. They always use OS physical address.
I would agree. Yeah.
OS physical address. Yeah, I kind of agree with Neil also.
I mean, OS physical address in the bracket system address, and then use system address terminology, because OS physical address is very confusing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even though
normally
it is used, I
in
agree with you, but just make the correlation and just start using system address.
Well, but I got to talk to Tony Luck, right? If I talk to Tony Luck and say system address, he's going to be like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I agree with that, Drew. I mean, normally we, both for Linux as well as Solaris, we use PA, which is physical address, and VA, which is virtual address. System address is barely ever used.
It's used.
I
I
know,
mean,
I understand, but for this document, we are
I don't
looking.
think I'm spitting in the wind, Anil. I mean, that's just going to confuse all the OS people.
What we need is a glossary at the front that
Yeah,
defines
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make the correlation that, okay, OS physical address implies
Yeah.
system address or system physical address. This OS physical address terminology kind of very confusing to me.
But I mean,
OS doesn't have any visibility of the physical anyway, right? So why physical address?
so if I go, what does a page table contain? Okay, I'm just going to ask that in a search engine. Okay. Okay. If I say, what does a page table contain? A page table manages the mapping between virtual addresses and physical addresses. Okay, if I look at page table in Wikipedia, a page table is a data structure used by a virtual memory system to store mappings between virtual addresses and physical addresses. So it's really spitting in the wind to try to say, hey, nobody use physical address, use system address. I mean, so we like this is the OS's notion. It's an and it's a and so I understand that it's like columns, but we're not going to redefine that. That's just too widely done in the industry.
I'm not saying it is not used. All I'm saying is that from a OS point of view, it appears physical address, but once you start in this context here, we have a physical address meaning different. We define physical address differently. So we want to kind of disambiguate that.
Right.
Right.
This is the OS physical address. So so when we say OS physical address, we'll say that is the OS's notion of what they call a physical address.
And what does it mean? Is that system address or actual physical address?
It is, if you go to Wikipedia and look at
No. Here in this context here, Wikipedia will not tell that, right? Because see, Wikipedia is from the OS point of view, right? It won't tell
that's
you.
why I said OS physical address.
Yeah, in our terminology here, what does it mean?
It means the OS's notion of a physical address.
Yeah, but is it like a XY coordinate within memory cell, or it is?
No, and okay,
Ah,
I'll link to Wikipedia. How about that?
yeah. Maybe I'm not able to communicate effectively. So
Don't
obviously
do
it is
that,
not.
because then Anil might go and change the Wikipedia. Don't link to Wikipedia.
No,
Just kidding.
Wikipedia is fine. I mean, OS physical address, I get it, right? That's the terminology used, and I'm okay to if you want to use that. But then clarify what that really means in this context here. Obviously, it is not memory cell XY coordinate, correct?
Right.
So what is it? In my opinion, that's a system address.
Yeah,
But
link
anyway,
to
if you want
Wikipedia.
to give any other terminology, that's fine. But just tell what it is.
Oh, sure. So,
Because the program counter, right? Or you can call in our machine terminology, right? Hardware machine terminology. It is a program counter, right? Which is
so I mean, it's and I mean it's enables the okay. It is not a X, Y.
view of the memory controller. I don't know if memory controller use here. Yeah, memory controller use here, right? It is not the view of the memory controller, right? So it's a point of view that are different, right? So this is the point of view of OS looking at the machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's the address used by operating system to access a memory location.
It's not an XY coordinate in the DRAM address. Yeah, that's fine too. I mean, it's not a memory controller view. Or
Right.
XY, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, as observed by used by memory controller. Because memory controller does use an XY coordinate, correct?
No, the memory controller does not use the XY coordinate.
Actually, yeah, if you go further down, so there is a yet another address scheme which memory controller uses, which is DRAM.
It's a channel address, like that's
Yeah,
the right, and
yeah.
that
Well, it's beyond channel, but it's a DRAM aggregate DRAM view, and then within DRAM there is a separate. Actually, no, row address and column addresses are what memory controller uses, right? Which is actually the physical XYZ coordinate. So memory controller
actually
does use.
it's not because and here's why. What you send across the bus to the DRAM may or may not actually map to the physical array because it gets swizzled. So
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of one more level of decoding, right? but at least a row address, column address is what is used by memory controller. Yes.
That is up here, and that is, yeah, we called,
And
I
we
would
use
call-
row. Yeah,
I
we
would
use
call
row and
that a
column.
logical address, and a row and column. I would call that logical, and then the XY coordinates are the physical. But you know,
Logical address. Mhm.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So we're kind of getting wrapped up in different views of how we define things. So again,
Exactly.
I push for, we have a glossary that defines virtual address, OS, physical address, logical address, and then XY physical address. So kind of call those out separately and clearly define them.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? That way, point of views are different. Therefore, we just
Yes,
Can
exactly.
someone write that up in the glossary?
Let me take the AR to look it up and fix the glossary and review it next time. We are on top of the hour, so I think we should.
Yeah,
This
we
will be a
gotta-
good stopping point for today.
okay, yeah, we'll work
Yeah.
on that. And I think, you know, like let's, we should also look in the, you know, other standards and see what that's called. I've heard it called a channel
I was
address.
going to check against the SDM for AMD and Intel, so that
Yeah,
that should be
and also maybe the JEDEC standard.
Yeah, and I think you'll find, looking at the different documents, you'll find different definitions. So we kind of fought that battle in the
and we
software
should
standards.
clarify. Yeah, and Charlie, we should clarify all those different references in our glossary, right?
Yeah, and we can do that. But I think where we'll ultimately land is we need as a group to decide how we're going to use the term, and then clearly state it in the document. So we don't get into these you say potato, I say potato type of discussions.
Yeah, well, let's
Yeah.
just try to be as common as we can. That's why I quoted
Absolutely.
Wikipedia, right? Is that let's be consistent with Wikipedia, you know, and like the virtual address space and physical address space. It's not an unusual
There
term.
could be several different Wikipedias, Drew. We should be consistent with the SDMs and JEDEC. I think that's probably
Sure.
more.
I mean, if you want to quote that, but I mean, just every textbook I've ever looked at uses OS physical address and OS virtual address. So, you know, every processor, every
So yeah, let's
in the PCI
start here.
spec, I can
next
quote
time.
that too.
Okay. Yeah. Let's start here next time. Does everyone agree with that?
Sounds good.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Have
I'll
a good
put a-
rest of the week, guys. Yeah.
I'll
we'll
put a
talk to you all
marker.
next time. Yep. Good. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
You'll have a good rest
Thank
of the
you.
week.
Thanks.
Talk to
Thanks.
you
Bye.
Sounds
Bye.
good.
now.
See ya.
See you next time.